Hello, in this video we're going to go through my configuration of Visual Studio Code and the extensions and settings I use for that. So we're just going to go into Tilix and open up VS Code in a project just so we've got an idea of how things look. So if I go to Fish here and list out my projects. Let's go to my CV, and then we'll open up VS Code from here, which I've got aliased to C, but you could do it as code and then dot to open the current directory. And what we're looking at here is just the standard Visual Studio Code setup. So what do we want to do from here? We've got a, I have a Notion sheet of these sort of things. So I've got my global VS Code snippets, which I use throughout the application. Got my settings, and then from the settings as well, we'll be able to glean a lot of my extensions I need as well. So for now, let's have a quick look at this. A lot prettier settings in here. They've been causing me a bit of grief recently. And C spell words. It's just spell checker in Visual Studio Code. So what we'll do first, I think, is go install the extensions first. So we can do that with a shortcut. So basically, if you do code list extensions and then use xargs to print out what you want to install on an existing version of code which you have your extensions in, and then if we come over to a terminal here, let's make this a bit bigger, split this to the right, and then go to Fish shell. If you can paste these in here, it will give us a list of extensions I've got, and one code install extension. So what we can do is we can just copy pasta this whole thing to the clipboard here, Control V, Control Shift V, and hit enter. And then this is going to install all of the extensions which I use on a daily basis. While that's happening, I'm guessing we can just start going into VS Code extensions and watching them get installed. Or maybe not. So I'm guessing maybe we need to restart VS Code. So if you do Control Shift P, and then we can say reload window. And then then it's listed now installed extensions. So a few people know what a bracket color pair does. That's for if you've got a lot of brackets in your code. It's just to help identify what is what, basically. So if we take a look at this and JavaScript, same with curly braces. It just helps you identify what part of the code you're in. If you've got like a very nested statement with a lot of brackets in it. Save that. These take quite a while to install, I found. Keep on, do refresh again. So if you do Control-Shift-P, then you can pick out your option from there. Yeah. Now the big ones for me are a theme. Give it a recommended there. Isn't here at the moment, and just things like auto close tag here. Sorry, auto close tag and auto rename tag. I think there's some basic functionality in VS Code, but it's not as good as the extensions there. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's the case with that. I just closed off the Visual Studio share there, which is this part here, which you need to sign into. So let's try to do that now. We're just authorizing connection between GitHub and Visual Studio Code there. While they're installing, I think we'll take a look at our settings as well. So if we do Control comma, that'll open up the settings panel, and VS Code's really got this nice user interface now for picking out your VS Code settings. I prefer the view in like the JSON object, just for ease of editing more than anything. And I've got a list of those settings in here. So if I go back to my, this is Notion, by the way, if you don't know what Notion is, it's a very cool tool, very handy. Go to my settings JSON here. What I think I'm going to do actually is just do a copy paster from this into here, and then go through anything with a squiggly line under it, either isn't installed. So I need to go through and make sure that they're installed if I need them. So main things for me are tabs 2, insert space is true, render indentations guides, which is basically for things like these lines here. You get these lines. It helps just identify the start of where the code's been indented. And font dank mono, and editor font size 80 because I'm old and I need things to be a bit bigger. If we save those, yep, okay, so we need to restart here. Okie dokie. Oh, and then it looks like we've got our theme, Night Owl, installed as well. Which is, yeah, Sarah Dresner Night Owl, awesome theme, and especially with a nice font which has italics like dank mono. You get some really nice highlighting when you have sort of italics with a nice font like dank mono. Okie dokie. So what else? Extensions, settings, icons. Do we have our icons? We do. So it looks like for me, copy pasting the settings in there. It's also activated the material icon theme, which I'm sort of preferring now over Visual Studio icons, which aren't here. What else do we use? So prettier. Let's just go from top to bottom here. So emoji sense is just so you can have emojis in your code. But not in your JSON by the looks of it, which doesn't seem right because I thought in the settings we enabled it for JSON. Bit odd. maybe still waiting for it to load. Take a look at a code block. There we go. So you can pick out your sort of GitHub tagged emojis, and you can either use this one, which is how you do emojis in like GitHub Markdown, or you can just that is a double colon, or you can just do one colon and start typing out your emoji, and it stays in the code there. For auto close tag, auto rename tag, this is for if you've got a it's for HTML, but it also works pretty well in React. So if you just see me entering the angle bracket there, once I've finished added the closing bracket, it added the accompanying closing bracket. So that's for auto close tag. Auto rename tag doesn't work as well as it should do. But I should rename this one as well, but it doesn't. It's a bit fiddly sometimes, that. Bracket pair colorizer, we've gone over that. Code spell checker. This helps eliminate a lot of errors in my code for me, just from not being able to type properly. Just for if you have a misspelled word, it'll give you some syntax highlighting there. And then in my settings for code spell, got a lot of enabled languages, which it checks in. I think I've just done the default, putting everything there, and my words which I want to have in there as well. Code stats, pretty cool tool. I use quite a lot of metrics in my code editors, just so I like to track stuff. So code stats. I need to put in an API key for this, I think. Oh, actually, have I got it? Might be in my settings here. There you go. I've got it in my code stats. Okay. But it is a cool site. So this will just give you your how often you're in whatever code you're using. See, I'm in JavaScript quite a lot. But this isn't the only tool I use for doing code metrics. I also use code time. I don't believe is installed here, and whacker time as well. Let's go and add these in. Whacker time. Code time. Whacker time wants me to put my API key in, so let's just quickly find that. So we can get that. Whacker time's pretty cool. Get I think 2 weeks worth of stats, and if you go premium, then you get unlimited history, I think. So it's good. Go my settings here, and copy my API key. Tip. Okay. Close those. My API key in here. And the last one was code time. Here it is, this one. This one's nice as well. just so I can record all the metrics for what I'm doing. So each have their own sort of advantages. Get different sort of insights out of your coding habits, really. So this is installed now, and I think this is just a GitHub login. So if we just say login here, open up a window for us, which we log into with GitHub, and then we get our stats this way. Okay. You get your nice sort of burn down of what you've been doing for the last couple of days here. Okay, back to VS Code. Let's close that. Back to the extensions. Clear this list. So where do we get down to? Code stats, color highlighter, basically for my global styles. It'll just highlight each sort of color you've got assigned. I just find that nice, just so you can quickly eyeball what something looks like via the hex. .env is just some nice syntax highlighting on your .env files. GitHub pull requests is so you can do a PR from within Visual Studio Code. Git lens is just more powerful sorry, Git client. I use it for put it up, labeled up here. We can sort of navigate through your changes, your history in the project. Quite good for blame and to find out where things got messed up, basically. And live share, it's the Microsoft add-in pack. This is so you can do like live screen sharing for audio live, and there's also a Slack extension as well, I think. What's one of these? This is quite cool. I think it's down here. Click on one of these options down here, and you can sort of start sharing a VS Code session. This Markdown preview is basically I like the GitHub styling in a Markdown document. So if we go to disable this now, then we go to a README, look at the preview. This one here, Control Shift GB, no, Control backslash. No, Scott, come on, mate. Control KV. It will give you your VS Code sort of styling. But if we go to our GitHub Markdown one and we enable this, basically just hit some GitHub Markdown highlighting, basically. Table of contents for Markdown documents. If you've got a lot of headings in your Markdown, this is quite good for that. It's just a shortcut key in your Markdown document. Material icon themes. I've gone over these from. I've gone to these over the usual VS icons, insanely popular ones like 2 million. So this is the ones I was using before, 16 million downloads, and I've sort of gone to this material theme icon now, just because they've got some nice icons basically for things like, just burning my eyes that. Some nice icons. I think primarily was the Gatsby one, but there are others on here as well. So they've got a really big collection of icons, which are pretty cool. Mdx Syntax Highlighting, doing a lot of stuff in Mdx now, so this helps for that. Sarah Jesner's awesome Night Owl theme. John Papa's awesome Peacock extension. You can get some funky colours going on with your projects with this. That's just Control Shift, search for Peacock, and you can get surprise me with a random colour, and wow, it will go add these to your settings of your document in here. But yeah, we're not going with that. Just undo this in the Code Explorer here. Yes, discard. Wow. Okay, back to these. Prettier, just built-in extension for auto formatting your code. Team chat for Slack. This is part of the VS Code add-in, I believe. Visual Studio IntelliCode. This is like having everything using TypeScript, but not, because TypeScript's a lot better for your types and picking out your IntelliSense here. But it does try to help you with some suggestions. Just syntax highlighting for Visual Studio for style components here. So again, I have that turned off with this is a style component. You won't get any sort of syntax highlighting around this code block here. We quickly disable this. Then we take a look at this here. Notice the syntax highlighting's gone from it, so that's a really handy one to have. Enable that again. And then last one on here is whacker time. Run over already. So just take a quick look at my settings to make sure nothing's been left out from here. So excuse me for doing some scrolling around. This is to exclude files from your Explorer side here. Explorer options, extension options here for code spell. I think this is for the Peacock. Enables the custom bar colors here. Breadcrumbs, these are just a lifesaver, these a lot of the time for going through things like this. You can pick out like the keys in this object here, but if you've got like a very big application, it helps you pick out functions and stuff within it. Quite good. There's all these favorite colors from Peacock. Bit of organization I need to do on this as well on my part. So that's pretty much it. Oh, one last thing actually, isn't it? Is code snippets. So I need to put in my global code snippets here as well. So if I do Control Shift P and then do snippets, I can insert a snippet. But I want to do global snippets. So if you do this configure user snippets, it asks you to do a new global one, which I'm going to have configured as VS global.vs code snippets. And this is the snippets which I sort of have follow me around. So if I do this, configure user snippets, make this one global VS code snippets. Oh, sorry, global VS, and then it adds the .code snippets extension to it. Code snippets, yeah, okay. Why doesn't it like that? There we go. And then copy pasta all my existing snippets in here. Save that. Now we've got things like if I want to do a function, and then usually if you want to do an arrow function, you have to put in your bracket, your parentheses, your fat arrow, and then your curly braces. For me, I just got this as fun, and if you do control space there, it comes up your with what options you can pick. So I just do tab there, it'll auto complete with that. And I've got a few just set out for things like we've got some hooks, snippets in here, component lifecycle methods, not using those very much anymore, just doing a CSS grid layout, header, main, footer, things like React context component, just loads of things like that, just which are quite helpful when you sort of forget the layout of a bit of code, which you should know better. So with that, I think we're done. I hope you found it helpful. I hope it wasn't too rambly. So thanks for watching. Thank you.